Demon Slayer is introduced us to a bunch of powerful characters as well as interesting characters, but as you watch the anime, there might be some moments where you scratch your head or you begin asking questions that the anime doesn't cover, or you might just be curious to learn more about the characters being shown on screen. That's why in today's newest Demon Slayer video, we're going to be taking a deep look at the character Mitsuri Kanroji by bringing up 15 facts that you didn't know or you might have overlooked about the character unless you are the most hardcore of Demon Slayer fans. Number 1, did you know that Mitsuri Kanroji is actually the former student of Rengoku, the former Flame Hashira? Symbolically, it makes a lot of sense. The Flame Hashira being the mentor for the Love Hashira, and love is often referred to as a burning desire, a flaming hot passion, so the symbolic connection, it is there. Obviously, there are no romantic feelings between these two. They're more like siblings, which hits even harder when you realize the past of these two characters and the roles that families played in each of their journeys. In the official Demon Slayer spin-off manga titled Rengoku Gaiden, we learned that Mitsuri Kanroji was training under Rengoku and trying to learn his flame breathing style. In the Rengoku Gaiden manga, we're given a chance to see several layers to Mitsuri's character that you don't fully get to see in the main story of Demon Slayer, where her skills and intelligence, they are on full display here. We see her insecurities being explored a little bit more, like how she is ridiculed for her extravagant style and her hair color, and she begins to grow self-conscious, and it's shortly after this that Rengoku comes into the picture, telling her that her hair isn't something to frown upon, but instead be viewed as something that brightens people's day. And in order to drive this home even further, to make her appreciate the uniqueness of her appearance and her body, Rengoku pokes fun about his own looks. However, as she continues to train under Rengoku, things, they aren't all laughter and easygoing, which brings me to the next point. Number 2, did you know that when Mitsuri was training under Rengoku, she was actually struggling to learn flame breathing? And by struggling, I mean it's kind of like watching somebody put together a jigsaw puzzle while blindfolded. Sure, some of the parts of the breathing style are picked up on by Mitsuri. She's able to use some of it. She can perform the heavy breathing style in battle, but Mitsuri was quickly realizing that this breathing style, it wasn't truly suited for her. And while in battle, she develops her own unique breathing style in the form of love breathing, in real time at that, to overpower her enemy in order to save a small family of a mother and a child. She took what wasn't working and she swapped it out for what felt more natural to her, and this on-the-spot adjustment showcases her as, despite her easygoing nature and sometimes ditzy moments, that behind that big smile of hers are the signs of a prodigy, given how she was able to make her own breathing style mid-fight. This alone best showcases her worthiness of being a Hashira as well as her intelligence. Throughout the story arc, we see that despite her ranking, Mitsuri, she was showing flashes of her quick thinking and instincts that one would expect of someone who's a Hashira. Mitsuri's time with Rengoku, it was vital for her finding herself, gaining her confidence, and exploring her own breathing style, and understanding that despite the unique build of her body, particularly the muscle structure, she could still be feminine and a fierce warrior at the same time. It was her stepping into her character, because in the past she was ashamed of her power and starved herself in order to come across more feminine and not be as powerful as her former fiance would once call her. She was like a wild boar. She deprived herself of what she truly needed in order to try and attract a husband. Number 3, did you know that there are more complexities to her character design than just being that of fan service? Ever since that scene that was showcased in the last season where she's shown in the hot spring, there's been a tendency for people to look past her design and just boil it down to it's a short skirt and it's some big old boobies, but there are a few nuanced details that are pretty cool when you look at them closely. For instance, the cloak that she wears, it has that pink gradient that symbolizes her love breathing style, her desire to find love, and her personality. Her hair color being pink with the green tips is more than just her love for Sakura Mochi, where the lore tells us that she ate so much of it that her hair, it just turned into that unnatural color. It's also because Mitsuri's name itself is a symbol of spring, and Mitsuri is often associated with spring and cherry blossoms, representing the symbolism of love and renewal, which that is very fitting. The first being love, because her love breathing style and her desire to find love, but the renewal portion even more so when you realize her encounter with Rengoku led to the renewal of her self-image and her confidence. Number 4, let's take a deeper look and let's break down Mitsuri's name even further by looking at the other meanings behind it and how they too fit into her character and her character arc. The Japanese lettering for her name, Mitsuri, combines the characters that mean nectar or honey, depending on which of the 3 Japanese alphabets she used, which symbolizes sweetness and love. Kanroji, when you do the same thing, it can be interpreted as being a temple of sweet dew, which again goes back to her association with kindness and affection. Temples are seen as a sanctuary of sort, a a safe place, and Mitsuri in a way was providing that very same thing to the swordsmith who were under the attack during the swordsmith village arc. We see the sweetness in her character in the affectionate way she behaved around Nezuko during that arc as well, Nectar in the way that more than one group of hot-blooded males in universe as well as in the anime community were attracted to her like bees to a flower, and Honey with her being the apple of Iguru's eyes. Number 5, while Mitsuri's outfit design does leave little to the imagination, and it was originally intended for characters like Shinobu who refused to wear it because the guy who made it was a big pervert to the point where she burnt the outfit when it was offered to her, there's a bit more when you look at Mitsuri's outfit a bit closely, starting with the rather controversial aspect, which is the perception that her chest is only open for fan service, which I guess you can make that argument if you want to. I personally don't, but the way we see her top open, it is patterned similar to that of a heart, which in turn fits into the sword that she uses, which has the heart-shaped symbols on the sword handle and the flower-shaped hilt for her sword. Obviously, this is meant to showcase her status as being the love Hashira and her love breathing, but the usage of the flowers and cherry blossoms are a recurring theme with her character, and the incorporation of floral imagery symbolizes growth and beauty and nurturing, and the nurturing aspect of love itself is part of why I think her design is the best out of all the Hashira, which that might be a bit of a hot take coming from a guy. The short skirt is more than just fan service as well. Given Mitsuri's combat ability, it uses agility and flexibility. Having her legs be unrestrained as possible only further helps her take advantage of her unique body composition that is 8 times that the muscle density of the normal human. Number 6, did you know that Mitsuri's flexible whip-like sword is actually a combination of a few Asian weapons? We all know that the reason she uses the sword in universe, and is the only one who can use it, is due to her body structure, and she's the only one who can perform those movements while using that blade like that and not get cut down into pieces in the process. Here's the thing, Mitsuri's sword is a few different blades, with the South Indian weapon known as the urumi being the closest real-life weapon in terms of flexibility and combat style and unique handling skills that are required to use the weapon that both doubles as a sword and a whip. It's the most intriguing real-life parallel to Mitsuri's blade. It's made out of several narrow strips of metal. It can be coiled together for storage, and it's flexible, allowing for a strike from multiple directions simultaneously, and it can be up to several feet as long, up to the length of the user, and it requires multiple years of training to master, much like Mitsuri's blade. One wrong move when you're using it and you won't just kill your target, you'll kill yourself as well. However, there are other weapons that her blade took inspiration from, like the Chinese whip chain, which is a flexible weapon composed of metal segments that are connected by rings, which is used in a manner of fighting very meticulous like the blade that Mitsuri uses. As you would expect, due to Demon Slayer being an anime, there are exaggerations made in order to have the blade perform in the fantastical setting of Demon Slayer, and unlike the Urumi, which is made up of multiple blades, Mitsuri's blade is made up of one continuous sheet of metal. Number 7, did you know that Mitsuri spends most of her money that she earns as a Demon Slayer on her food expenses? While that might not come as a shock to you guys listening in 2024 who are dealing with super high inflation where buying groceries costs an arm and a leg and a kidney, but for Mitsuri, it is not inflation, but instead it's because she just eats an insane amount of food due to the enormous amount of calories that her body needs in order to function, which it makes a lot of sense. After all, muscle requires nutrients and water in order to be properly maintained on top of training, and for someone like Mitsuri to function properly in combat, she needs to have enough calories in her body to operate in the way that's expected. As a former athlete and someone who has a brother-in-law who played college football, I know all too well about high food expenses to maintain muscle. In case you're wondering where that information came from, it comes to us via the Demon Slayer official data book. Number 8, keeping with the subject of food, did you know that the first Demon Slayer data book also reveals that one of her favorite things to do is to teach Shinobu how to cook dishes that are traditional Western cooking, something that they bonded over after Shinobu's sister passed away after she fought against an upper moon. Number 9, did you know that the Demon Slayer spin-off manga, Demon Slayer the One-Winged Butterfly, in chapter 3 of that manga, we learned that Mitsuri can eat 100 sticks of dango in one setting as a snack. This might seem like like a rather odd fact, but I bring it up to harken back to the insane amount of calories that her body requires to function. So one dango stick, which is made from various rice flours that are put together when making the dumplings that are boiled and grilled and skewered onto the stick, and then it's dipped into sweet sauce. It has an average of 150 calories per stick, though there are some recipes that only have 65 calories per stick. This means that her snack of 100 dango, Mitsuri is eating anywhere between 6,500 calories to 15,000 calories. And as we see in the Demon Slayer anime, her dinners are even bigger than that, which is really good given that she burns off a lot of those calories given her unique fighting style. But again, it makes sense given she's got 8 times the muscle density of the normal person, so she'd need even more calories than the average human in order to function. Number 10, did you know the reason why so many of her attacks are named after cats is because Mitsuri used to own a cat as a child, and she enjoys speaking about cats with the strongest Hashira in the series, Guillaume. It's another of her favorite things to do when she isn't out on missions according to the Demon Slayer data book. Number 11, did you know that even though Mitsuri tells Tanjiro in the Swordsmith Village arc that she wanted to become a Demon Slayer to find a husband, the truth is that she already had her sights set on someone the entire time. The second Demon Slayer fanbook tells us that she was already in love with Igaru, the person who gave her those green socks, long before the confession was made in the final battle with Muzan. But the reason why she couldn't bring herself to confess to him before that is because of the trauma that she had from her failed past relationships and her fear of rejection, which is really tragic when you realize that Igaru had loved her even longer than she had loved him. Number 12, did you know that the second Demon Slayer fanbook also reveals that Mitsuri did more with Shinobu than just bond over cooking Western dishes, but she also sought out Shinobu for love advice, likely because she was the only female Hashira in the ranks, but Shinobu wasn't really the right person to discuss this with. Sure, if you want to talk about poisons, go right ahead. However, her answer was more so about love and the technical mumbo jumbo, like things like sweating and heart rate and endorphins, blood pressure rising, all those things of that nature. Not exactly useful information to someone like Mitsuri who was looking for a husband. Number 13, did you know that Mitsuri's issues with relationships, they stem even further than just her trauma that she had from failed past relationships before she became a Demon Slayer? Mitsuri, due to seeing so many of her comrades dying over the years, she held quite the anger and sadness despite her bubbly persona, according to the second Demon Slayer fanbook, which makes you look back at her response to Tanjiro and Nezuko when the Hashira were assembled after Nezuko and Tanjiro were captured and brought to the Demon Slayer headquarters that much more differently now. Number 14, did you know that Mitsuri Kanroji is special in the world of Demon Slayer? I'll give you 2 words as to why, and they are not big boobs and they are not pink hair. The reason why she is special is Mitsuri is the only female Demon Slayer in the history of the franchise to have unlocked the Demon Slayer mark. Number 15, did you know that in both of the Demon Slayer popularity polls, Mitsuri came in at 12th place? She didn't rise, but she didn't fall in popularity either. And in fact, in the second popularity poll, she even got more votes than the last time, which it just speaks to the steadiness of her character. If you enjoyed this Demon Slayer video, click here to the left for my Mitsuri Kanroji video essay, or click here for my every number kaiju explain video.